What if I told you you could buy a set of gear that's just as good as Klim at half the price? You'd call me crazy, right? Well, our friends at Rocky Mountain ATV have, in the words of Shania Twain, gall dern gone and done it. This is my review of the all-new MSR Xplorer jacket and pant. I was lucky enough to have gotten my hands on these about a month ago, and I've been trying to test them as thoroughly as possible, and every single time I have, this jacket and pants combo has come through with flying colors. I keep trying to find the flaw in this gear because it doesn't make sense that it could be this good for this price, and so far I've been unsuccessful. So the old ARC Battleborn gear was sort of the gold standard in entry-level adventure gear. It was the gear that everyone recommended for someone getting started or for someone looking for low-cost, durable, comfortable, multifunctional ADV gear. When it was discontinued a few years ago, a lot of people were left asking Rocky Mountain, is it coming back? Is it being replaced? What's happening? And now we have the answer. They spent those 3 years developing and testing this MSR Xplorer gear, and now they have a full line, jacket, pants, 3 different sets of gloves. They've got a mid-layer on the top and a mid-layer on the bottom. They've even got socks that you can buy to go with this setup, and I'm here to tell you it's really good. I obviously have this MSR Xplorer gear. I also have the Klim Carlsbad gear, and I don't want to say that Rocky Mountain copied Klim, but I will say that in my teaching days, if 2 kids had turned in tests with answers this close together, well, they just spent a little time in the principal's office, if you know what I'm saying. So let's run through the features of this gear. I'll tell you what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, and then we'll hit kind of a final conclusion where I tell you if I think this gear is worth your money, in my personal opinion and experience. Most important features of the Xplorer gear. All of the high wear areas have 630 denier protection with super fabric, and the super fabric is unique in that it actually has ceramic overlays, and you can see the little dots. So if you zoom in close on the knees and on the elbows and on the shoulders. The jacket and pants come with a full suite of removable D30 CE Level 1 armor. The jacket and pants are entirely constructed of the Event 3-layer main body fabric that is 30,000 millimeter water column waterproof. That is pretty damn waterproof. Has a very high breathability rating. It's a competitor to Gore-Tex. They have water-resistant YKK zippers throughout. The mesh liner is incredibly comfortable. The venting on this jacket and pants is very impressive. There are 8 vents on the jacket and 4 on the pants, and all of those vent directly to the mesh liner and to the body. So unlike a lot of jackets where you're venting to a waterproof liner or something like that, which is almost pointless, you open those vents and you will be getting direct airflow onto yourself when you're riding in the hotter temperatures. The jacket has a hydration pocket, so you don't need to wear a backpack. This jacket and pants feature a ton of adjustability. Waist adjusters, forearm adjusters, back of the knee adjusters, and the pants have leather knee panels on the inside for better grip on the bike and better abrasion resistance and wear resistance on an area that rubs up against your motorcycle a lot, especially when you're riding off-road standing up. So what do I like about this gear? Well, first off is the first thing you notice. I think it's really cool looking. I had a hell of a time deciding what color I wanted. The white was really cool, and this blue was really cool, but I decided on the blue because I already have a set of kind of gray-white gear, and you can also get basic black, just like every other set of ADV gear. This jacket fits like Klim, and by that I mean it fits American-sized people like me. A larger person has room to breathe. It's not a tight European fit, and the sizing is not ridiculously small. So whatever you wear in Klim, if you've tried on Klim, it's almost spot on, at least in the sizes that I wear with this MSR gear. So I really like that there's room to move and breathe. There's room underneath for a mid-layer or a base layer and a mid-layer or a puffy jacket or whatever it is you want to wear. Big thing I like about this jacket and pants is the price, $760, which is not cheap. It's not nothing. But the Carlsbad jacket costs just under that by itself. You would pay almost twice as much for the Carlsbad gear, and you're getting gear that is almost as good or as good in my opinion. The fit and finish on this gear is excellent. It feels heavy, it feels substantial. There is a double stitching throughout. I remember when the package came, when I took it out of the package, I was like, this is heavy. This is a heavy, protective jacket. It's very impressively made. Same with the pants. It doesn't feel cheap, I guess is what I'm trying to say. The waterproofing is excellent, and I don't make that claim lightly. I wanted to test it for myself, so if you saw my rain and snow test video, you know what I mean, but if you haven't checked that out, but I got out for about 3 to 4 hours in driving rain. I rode up in the snow. I did Snow Angel. I rode home on the highway. I rode out on the highway. My visor was fogging. I couldn't see a damn thing. But I got home and I was bone dry underneath this jacket. The waterproofing is legit. The zippers don't leak. There is no points of entry for water other than your cuffs if you don't zip them up and your neck hole if you're not protecting that in some way, zipping it all the way up. I love that there are no zip-in liners with this jacket. Some people prefer the zip-in liner. They like to buy a jacket that has all of that with it. I'm not a fan of that setup. It feels bulky and uncomfortable to me. I much prefer the option to layer in my own mid-layer. I can wear this Columbia vest if I want under it easily, if I don't really feel like I need my arms to be warmer, but I want them kind of free. I can throw on the MSR mid-layer, which I have. You can put a sweatshirt underneath it. You can put a fleece jacket. Whatever you have to wear as a mid-layer, you can use, and you have that versatility. And it's also so much quicker when the weather turns on you. Say if it starts to get cold and rainy and you want to put a warmer layer on, it's as fast as unzip your jacket, take it off, put your new mid-layer on, zip it up, zip the jacket up, you're good to go. With zip-in liners, that process takes 5 minutes and you're just standing there soaking in the freezing rain. So I love the layering capability. I love that it doesn't come with a zip-in liner. It comes with full armor. No need to buy a back protector. I have bought so many jackets for the same or more money that do not come with a back protector. They just have a foam pad. This comes with full D3O armor throughout. I love that the main construction is kind of stretchy and has a little bit of pliability to it. That's so much more comfortable when you're on the bike for a long period of time, particularly if you're a larger person who is stretching that gear in some places, depending on what you're doing. It is very comfortable to have that flexibility. The way the wrist cuffs are set up is actually a very underrated feature because you can zip it all the way down and it's fully waterproof. You can zip it all the way open and it's mesh, so you'll flow a ton of air, or you can zip one zipper down, leave the mesh open, but keep the cuff closed, so it'll breathe but won't let in like a bunch of airflow. So it's a lot of versatility there. Cool design. It has the ID pocket on the arm here, which is stolen directly from the Klim gear, but it's a great place for your key or your credit card or whatever, something you want to be able to get to quickly. And maybe my favorite, most underrated feature, I'm going to show it to you right here. There are snaps on the cuff. Snaps. I cannot tell you how many times I've ridden in motorcycle pants with Velcro closures on the cuff, and by the end of the day, you're walking on that pant. It's underneath your heel. Those Velcro closures just do not stay closed. Snaps and adjustable, there's 3 of them, is amazing. It's a game changer, and I've never seen it on a pair of pants that cost less than $600. That is an amazing feature that I'm so excited that they included. They clearly did their homework. They've clearly spent a lot of time wearing and enjoying or not enjoying various features of other ADV gear. So that's what I like about this gear. There's a lot to like, but it's not perfect. No gear is, and I wouldn't be being honest with you. I wouldn't be dorking the road if I didn't tell you what I don't like. So here's what I don't like. The event liner is great. It's very waterproof, but it's a 3-layer construction, which is fewer layers than Gore-Tex. It breathes better than Gore-Tex, but doesn't insulate you as well as Gore-Tex. So on a cold day, you can feel the wind through your jacket in a way that with a Gore-Tex jacket, you don't feel it as much. Now, that's an advantage in the summer months, but in the winter when it's cold and raining, just keep in mind you're gonna feel it a little more than you do in other Gore-Tex jackets, other waterproof jackets. This is a personal pet peeve of mine, but I hate the gusseted zipper on the pants. I know what it's for. I understand that it's there to keep water from getting in through the zipper, but I gotta tell you, I pee 5 times on every ride. I get soaked up to my crotch almost never. So I would rather roll the dice with occasionally getting some water in the front of my pants than have to deal with a gusseted zipper every time I have to go pee while I'm riding. I'm tempted, no kidding, to just take a pair of scissors and cut that thing out because it is so annoying. Also, they have a weird kind of stiffness at the inside of the elbow. It has something to do with the adjustment for the elbow armor that's there. I'm thinking maybe it just needs to wear in. It's just pretty stiff, but it does kind of poke me weirdly in certain directions, certain positions.
That's what she said.
Another big personal pet peeve of mine, there is no zipper to zip the jacket to the pants. Now, as a fat guy with a gut that pushes down the front of my pants, I really enjoy having a zipper in the back to hold them up, to counteract that force. Not having it on these pants, even though it has great waist adjustability, it has a very good MX style buckle on the front, it'll still kind of push them down a little bit, and I just missed that peace of mind. So I just added suspenders. These are like Polish fireman suspenders. They work great. They hold the pants up, so problem solved, but it sure would be nice if it came with that zipper like a lot of other pants do. That's probably my biggest con, the thing that annoys me the most about this gear. I'd prefer more abrasion resistance, but 630D in the high wear areas is good enough for me on the highway. It's about what I'd consider the minimum or just above the minimum. I think a 500 is about what I'm comfortable with, but I've had jackets that had 1,000, you know, or more, and so that's just more peace of mind. But I guess it's a trade-off for the comfortability and the stretchability of the jacket. Just know it could be more abrasion resistant, but it's still pretty good. So what's the bottom line? How do I feel about this gear? Should you buy this gear? Is it worth your money? Okay, let me start off with a disclaimer. Full disclosure, Rocky Mountain sent me this gear to test and use for you. They did not specify that I had to do a review video. They did not pay me to do a review video, and they sure as hell didn't pay me to make 2 videos and potentially 3 if you're interested in an in-depth comparison between it and the Carlsbad, which I'd be happy to do. Let me know if you're interested in that. Okay? I do get money if you click on my link and buy their gear. If you don't want to click my link, that's fine. I do not care. All I care about is that you save money buying gear that is incredibly good for the price. And the MSR Xplorer gear is that. I am blown away by how good it is at the price, and I have used at this point a lot of gear from the full spectrum. I started out in built gear, I've got a couple sets of climb gear, and I've used everything in between, and the MSR gear is the most impressive gear that I've used. I just cannot believe how they squeeze so much value into this price point. So how did they do that? That's your question, right? You're like, okay, that's too good to be true. You're right, but quick and dirty explanation of how the retail industry works for those of you who don't know. A manufacturer sells a product to a distributor at a markup. The distributor sells that product to a retailer at a markup, and then the retailer sells it to you at a markup. That's 2 middlemen between you and the person that made the gear. Rocky Mountain makes this gear. This is a house brand for them, so no distributor, and they're the manufacturer and the retailer. That's how they can afford to make a quality product at a lower price, because they don't have to send it to stores, and they also don't have the marketing budget of some of these other companies. That's why it's so cheap. That's why I feel confident saying that the quality is comparable to some of the far more expensive stuff I've used. $760 is not cheap, and I'm not saying that it is. Please don't hear me saying, why can't you just throw $760 at something? It's not entry level, or at least it's not beginner friendly pricing, but it is buy it for life gear that is an insane value that leaves you a lot of money left over to get yourself a very nice helmet and boots, versus spending $1,400 on the Klim Carlsbad gear, which I love. Do not take this as me bad-mouthing that Carlsbad gear. That is insanely good gear. I really like it. But this stuff is almost as good and at half the price. So if it's even 90% as good at half the price, that is an insane value, and you should definitely check it out. I've had this gear hanging in my closet right next to my Carlsbad gear for the last month and a half or so, and every time I go to take a ride, I walk up and I grab the MSR gear. Every time. It's more comfortable for me right now, and I'm just really enjoying using it. And I'm about to leave for Mexico for a 10-day trip up Baja, and this is the gear I'm taking. So I have a closet full of climb gear, and I'm taking my MSR gear to Mexico, and hopefully that tells you something, because they're not paying me to do that. This is just the gear that I think I'm going to be most comfortable in the whole time I'm down there. So I will link these for you in the description so you can check out the MSR jacket and pants, as well as the gloves and all the other stuff, the mid-layer and everything they have on Rocky Mountain ATV. If you have questions about this gear, because I know you can't go look at it in the store, unfortunately, the one disadvantage of Rocky Mountain, please feel free to leave those in the comments. The nice thing about Rocky Mountain is if you get the wrong size, you can ship it back and get a different size once for free. They don't charge you. So you have that peace of mind, at least, if you order it. But my recommendation is, if you're curious about sizing, is go try on a set of climb gear and get the size that fits you in that. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, please hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more ADV gear reviews, advice videos, camping videos, and I'm working on this ADV 101 series where I go in depth about what ADV and dual sport riders want or need in gear, and then give some recommendations for each of the categories I'm working on. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that. Also, check out my full motorcycle and gear review playlist for more reviews of gear, bikes, and everything else we like to use. But for now, and as always, I just want to say thank you very much for watching, and please do not forget to be excellent to each other. Thank you.
Excellent!
Golden Cone!